Good morning. I'm going to present the Amrita Institute data for the treatment pattern and outcome of Indian patients with oligometastasis from breast cancer. Now, if we see our 2018 to 20 data of breast cancer patients treated in our institute, we have treated around 862 patients with breast surgery. Among them, 61% are breast conservative surgery and only 38% is MRM, and 83% of the patients after surgery has underwent adjuvant radiation therapy. So it shows that our treatment profile is similar to the Western literature and may not be as per the other centers from Indian subcontinent. Now, if we go in details of patients treated in 2020, around 314 patients surgery was done. The mean age of presentation was 55, which is also a little different from other part of India. And if we see the sentinel lymph node biopsy, lymph node harvest, chemotherapy received, adjuvant radiotherapy received, and FISH test done, and patient received trastuzumab, all are 85 to 90% of the patients have received that. So there's an excellent adherence to the protocol. More than 95% of the patients have. And the patient profile is almost similar to the Western patient, especially the mean age of presentation. Now, if you compare our data from 2014 to 15 data, we can see there's a significant improvement in terms of concordance and adherence to the protocol in last year. And so our breast cancer treatment is almost structured and protocol based in our institute. Now, if we see the 5% of the patients who had deviations from the protocol, mostly because of the financial reason, not because of the availability of the facilities. So it that also can be sorted after some kind of support. Now, in Amrita Institute, we have a dedicated radiosurgery unit, and where we have treated 840 patients till date, and all these patients are in a prospective database. Among those patients treated, 44% are intracranial and 56 are extracranial disease. In the patients with oligometastasis, 28% means 233 patients were oligometastasis treated and are in our prospective database. 134 means 16% of the patient are brain metastasis, and 99 patients mean 12% are extracranial disease. Now, if we compare our data from the other centers from the West, those who are doing a radiosurgery, they are usually the brain metastasis around 30% of the total workload, whereas it is only 16% of our cases. So the acceptance of radiosurgery for brain metastasis still is little lagging behind from the Western data. Now we have a protocol which is ethical committee approved for, and it is a research topic for one of our MD student, and for the oligometastasis treated with radiosurgery. We have accrued 205 patients for evaluations. In that, 111 patients are brain metastasis and 94 are extracranial disease. Oligobrain metastasis less than 5 lesions and extracranial lesions less than 3 sites involved with good performance status are included in the trial. And overall survival after radiation surgery in Indian patient populations are the primary endpoint of this study. Now, if we see the oligometastasis in oligobrain metastasis patients of 111 patients with 106 lesions, and breast is 31% of these patients, whereas lung is the most common, is 42%. Other colon, thyroid, and others are 26%. Now, if we see the number of brain metastases, 60% of the patients are single brain metastasis treated with radiosurgery in our institute. 2 to 3% is another 30%. Only 16% of the patients have 3 to 5 lesions treated with radiosurgery. Now, the dose 24 gray, 1 to 3 fractions are almost 70% of the patients are receiving that, and as a protocol base, and our 12 gray volumes are as per the standard protocol. Now, if you see the outcome, mean overall survival is 13.5 months for all patient cohort of brain metastasis treated with radiosurgery. And if you see, 50% of the patients have more than 12 months of overall survival. Now, about the recurrence rate we can see that 34% of the patients have recurrence in the brain after the radiosurgery on follow-up. And among those, 61% of the patients were treated with re-radiosurgery for these patients, and only 30% of the patients have undergone on whole brain radiations, and 12% had surgery. In the breast cancer primary with brain metastasis, 78% of the patient had a new lesion in the brain after radiosurgery, while 64% of the patients were treated with radiosurgery again, and 36 were whole brain radiation in this cohort. Now, if you consider the brain metastasis from breast cancer primary, and we see the luminal type or molecular type is luminal B is 25%, HER2 enrich is 33%, and triple negative is 36%. So almost similar cohort of patients are there in brain metastasis from breast primary, and dose is 20 to 24 gray in 1 to 3 fractions most of the time, and the mean overall survival is 14.4 months in this cohort. And if you see the overall survival in luminal B, it is 11.6 months. HER2 enrich is 17.4, and TNBC is 13.7 months. So it is almost similar in this patient cohort. When we compared the patients with breast cancer with brain metastasis with other primary with brain metastasis, lung, colon, and others, there is not much difference in terms of outcome in this patient cohort. Similar for molecular subtype of luminal B, HER2 enriched, and TNBC, there is not much difference in terms of overall survival. Now we have done a normogram and compared with the Western normogram and saw that group 1 and group 2, which is a good prognosis, there is excellent correlation, whereas group 3, which is a poor prognosis, have a poor concordance. So we need to have our own normogram data of brain metastasis from different primary sites, especially the breast cancer patients. Now, in the extracranial site of 94 patients who are evaluable, 8 patients are from breast primary, which has 3 liver metastasis, 2 are bone metastasis, 2 are nodes, and 1 choroidal metastasis. Now, among those 8 patients of breast primary with extracranial metastasis, only 1 patient have a synchronous metastasis, which presented with a lesion in the bone, whereas all others are metachronous primary. 3 are liver metastasis, 1 choroid, and rest of the bone metastasis and lymph nodal metastasis. The DFI in 4 out of 8 patients are more than 5 years, means 60 months. That is interesting. And 2 out of 8 patients were expired, and 6 are alive and on follow-up. Now we have our initial data of liver metastasis treated with radiosurgery of 15 patients, and the mean follow-up was and overall survival was 6.5 months in this cohort. There is some interesting data of a series of breast cancer with liver metastasis, with recurrent liver metastasis treated with radiation therapy with CyberKnife, and it is seen that it is feasible to treat radiation with CyberKnife in patients with recurrent liver metastasis. Recently, we have treated 2 patients of internal mammary nodal radiation with radiosurgery with surface tracking markers, and it's seen that it is feasible to treat these patients with CyberKnife with surface tracking. So I acknowledge my breast team with Dr. Vijay Kumar, Anupama, Dr. Mala Mathur, Misha, Dr. Pavitran, Wesley, Shruti, and Dr. Ajay for our support. Thank you.